Hey copycat quilters, welcome back to my channel. I was wondering, have you ever been in the middle of a project and you're just sewing away and then you realize you don't have enough fabric to finish? Now I'm not talking about that stash over in our closets because we all know we have a lot of fabric over there. I'm talking about you pull out that pretty little charm pack, you make some disappearing 9 patches and things like that. You go put it into a quilt and you realize I needed one more block. Or I wanted it to be a bigger quilt and now I'm just stuck. Well, because I make up a lot of my own quilts and I usually don't have a plan in mind when I start, that happens to me all the time. So I thought today I would show you some of the quilts that I've made where that happened to me and what I did to try to adapt and end up with a finished quilt. But before I do that, I want to tell you something I'm really excited about. I am planning a digital course that will teach you how to use those traditional piecing techniques that you have nailed down so good with the perfect corners and start making that a little more improv and maybe putting it into a little more modern layout that'll be fun and easy and kind of just a little way to dip your toes into that world of modern and or improv quilting. So let me show you an example of a couple of my quilts. So raise your hand if you've ever gone on vacation, gone into a quilt store and bought pretty little charm packs, brought them home and then said, now what? When I go on vacation, especially if I'm going to be able to sew, I like to take something to challenge myself with. So when I went to visit my daughter in Louisiana over Thanksgiving, I took this charm pack of these really cute little kind of retro looking florals, and I took a layer cake of a lot of different shades of white or off-white fabric. I think the pack was actually supposed to be kind of skin tones. So I had that charm pack and I had that layer cake and just went to town. And because I had limited fabric in the layer cake, I started sewing with the lighter whites and all of a sudden realized I'm going to run out of those because there were 5 or 6 or 7 different shades in this layer cake. So I decided to just go ahead and use the different shades. You can see this one's much darker than that one, and this is a cream and that's more of a white. And it was really fun to put together, and I think it added a lot of interest. The charm pack itself had mostly white background, but it did have some that seemed like a little bit duller and maybe, not such a white background. So that was one way to expand that charm pack because those things do not make huge quilts. Now I still have to find this one, but it is quilted with a beautiful design that a friend of mine did who quilts for charity. And this one will be going out soon. One thing I forgot to mention with this quilt, on this quilt I had too much fabric and too little. So I had all of these half square triangles. I put them into 4 patches, probably maybe 9 patches, and then sewed them together. But it ended up with 4 extra half square triangles. If I had tried to fit this onto the front, I would have had one of those weird numbers and had a long skinny quilt, or had one with a section stick out of it. So I just took the 4 extra blocks that I had, put them into the backing. I just cut a strip that was as wide as these and as long as the quilt, sewed it in, and then pieced the rest of my backing and trimmed it down. It's a really easy way to add something fun to the back of your quilt and to use those blocks that were left over because I couldn't put them into the front of the quilt and get any reasonable shape of a quilt out of it. So sometimes we don't have enough fabric and sometimes we have just enough extra to not to know what to do with it. So this is another charm pack quilt that went on vacation with me. I love this backing. It's called burlap and it's just got a really pretty texture to it, or a look of a texture, and it was made in a lot of different colors. So I started making disappearing 9 patches, which was a lot of fun, great to do with a charm pack because you get big squares and they finish up kind of quickly. Now I had taken some yardage with me, and it was this whiter color. It was this white background, but just like on the other ones, I ran out of that and I started having to think what I could do. So again, I used some of the skin tones out of that layer cake, and you can see maybe in the lighting, a few of these have a little bit darker shading around them than the white. So it was another one of those, let's make it work, and you really can't see much difference on the quilt. Here's another one where you might be able to see this is darker than the other ones. And here's a lighter one, but it's still darker than the white. So I was happily sewing along, making this cute little disappearing 9 patch. And when I went to put it together into a quilt top, I realized I had a strange number. So like 2 by 3 or 2x4, and I could not figure out like a layout that got the quilt as big as I wanted to. So I decided that I would just kind of improvise like I normally do. And I put this giant pinwheel in the center. I didn't have any of my border fabric or that backing fabric, so I just took some solids that I did have. I think I had taken a few solids for another project. I think it took 3 projects to play with. And I used this green, and I did use some of those darker colors from the layer cake because I did not have any more of the white. And I just made a cute little pinwheel in the center. Now, one thing, this green is nowhere else in the quilt. It is not the same as any of these other greens. This charm pack didn't have any solids. But you can see I just took a lot of different solids and laid them around, and I thought, okay, well, that's pretty close. That's a nice blend. And you know, on a quilt kind of this busy with this many prints, who's going to notice that, this solid is not in any of the blocks anywhere? So when I did that, I probably didn't plan ahead real great because that's what I do. I wing it. And I ended up, the pinwheel block was too small to match the blocks beside it. So I took that same layer cake, cut a square, completely random. I did not do measurements. I laid a square on top probably and sliced it, and I added these setting triangles on it to make it a square and a square. And I really love this quilt. I think it turned out so much cuter having that giant pinwheel than it would if it had just been the disappearing 9 patches. I think that really livened up the quilt. If you've been on my channel very much, you probably know I do not like to make other people's quilts. I may pick a pattern and then start it and just run out of steam. I also don't know why I do this, and maybe you do this too. Tell me, have you ever signed up for a block of the month and 2, 3, 5, 6 months into it, you're just like, ugh, can't do another block? Well, that's what happened on this quilt. So I was doing a sew along during the pandemic by 3 ladies, and this was called the Elemental Quilt, and it was kind of a mystery quilt along thing. So I started quilting, I started making the pieces, and I think maybe those 2 blocks were 1 month, and started making pieces, and I just got totally bored. I hit 1 month where I think there were probably some blocks that would have been more challenging for me, or there were several blocks that time, and I'm just like, nope, can't do any more. This is not my quilt anymore, not having fun. And for me, quilting is all about having fun. So what I did was I took the blocks that were sitting here probably 2 years or more. Yeah, because it was during the pandemic and I've just got this finished. And I took the blocks that I had created. So these were some of the different months. So anyway, I took the blocks that I already had made and I added in some big strips. I'm really good at the throw a big strip in the middle of it to make it bigger kind of person. And I added these huge strips throughout the quilt in a couple different places of the quilt. And I did a small border. I probably was running out of this peach fabric, but I did small border. And I think the quilt turned out really pretty. Like it's pretty, it's got a modern thing to it. It's in nice colors and it's finished. Best thing, it's finished. For this quilt, I also decided, hey, I've got some of these colors left, some of the solids that were supposed to be in the other parts of the quilt, and I decided I would make a ginormous pinwheel. In case you haven't noticed, I really like pinwheels. And I put some blocks around it, some flying geese blocks, just gigantic blocks. I just took huge squares of whatever I had. I also pieced my binding because of course I didn't have enough fabric, and I actually took pieces that were cut off when I did the long arming, the pieces that were on the sides. I took those after they were trimmed off, the extra stuff, and I just cut those into strips. I won't spend a lot of time on this quilt because I do have a video about it and I'll link it below. It's a jelly roll race. I think we're all familiar with those. These were actually not from a jelly roll, but they were scraps and strips that I had of different batiks, I think for the most part. So I cut them into 40-inch strips, 2.5 by 40 inches, and then realized I did not have 40 or 42, which would be around the size of a jelly roll. So I took some black strips that I had, but by adding those black strips in, and if you know how jelly roll works, the pieces kind of come out random. So I did not plan to have black on the top and the bottom, but that's kind of where they landed. So I added in a few black jelly roll strips in order to stretch the fabric that I did have for this quilt and make a finished quilt. This one's twin size, I think, and I also bound it with the black jelly roll strip sizes, 2.5-inch strips.
And I have a video on that too, because I actually made the binding on this and attached it with my serger with the fusible thread. So this quilt has several different techniques that were kind of fun to play around with. So these are a couple of fun quilts, and something that I wanted to do to make larger quilts for charity. I wanted to make some twin extra long, because I know my boys are tall and their feet stuck out from underneath blankets at a pretty early age. And donating these to charity, I thought, there are probably some older boys, taller boys, probably taller than me, that could use these kinds of quilts too. I'm a math geek girl myself, and it's not that I'm sexist. These could be for girls, of course, but since they get a lot more girl charity quilts than boys, I'm calling these quilts for boys. So this was a cool print. I got about 3 yards of some novelty prints. And this one had things like the periodic table of elements and some math equations. It had fabrics with, I don't even know what these would be, maybe compound structures and laboratory equipment. This is one of my favorites. It's little zeros and ones for the binary code. And just different colorful fun prints. A lot of them are directional prints, like this one with the periodic table of elements. And it's in black and white, it's in color, some more math equation things. So this was just some fun prints. But these novelty prints can be pretty expensive. So instead of making one quilt and using all novelty, I decided to stretch that fabric because I didn't have enough to make 3, and I wanted to make charity quilts and be able to afford the fabric for them. So I just cut big strips, and you see I cut them at different widths. So that's probably 5. These look like 2.5. I have some that are probably closer to 4. I even played around some with doing just some squares with colored strips between them. So what I did was stretch this fabric using solid colors. Really simple idea, and you may have already thought of it, but I thought it was a fun way to get to use all those prints, but still be able to stretch them into multiple quilts.
Okay, time for confessions. Put in the comments below if you've ever been working on a quilt, ran out of the fabric you needed, or you were just having fun making those pretty blocks and then you didn't have enough blocks. Or if you're doing a quilt and you end up with extra blocks, what do you do with those? I would love to hear about that, and I so appreciate you watching my channel. I think one of the fun things about quilting is making it work. I just really enjoy the creativity of running out of fabric and now what do I do? Or seeing a quilt that I like and interpreting it my own way. I never want to make somebody else's quilt. So thanks for watching. I hope you learned something new, and maybe the next time you're on a quilt and you're stuck running out of fabric or not enough blocks, you'll have some ideas of things that you can do to finish your quilt off your way.